Well, hello there. My name is Matt. I'm the curator and puppet wrangler for Disaster of Puppets. Today I'm going to run through the steps to create a 40-key wireless macro keyboard. It also includes an LCD so you can output characters to a screen dependent on the button pushed. I included the LCD as a quick way to determine what scene is currently active. While this tutorial will be based on using Twitch IRC commands to control OBS Studio in conjunction with Kruiz Control, you can easily set up commands with Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and it even works with slobs. For this project you'll need 40 Cherry MX switches or keys of your choice, 40 keycaps. While you can purchase your own, I have included 3D files to save a bit of cash, an ESP32, a 16x2 LCD display. Make sure you get the one with the connected IIC interface. And finally, a 3D printer or access to someone nice enough to print the parts out for you. First, let me walk through my current OBS scene setup, as it's a little different, but it'll help you understand why I've set everything up the way I have. You may also get some ideas for your own stream, or you could hate it and use it as a what not to do reference. Win-win, right? The main two scenes I use in OBS are PC and Craft Desk. I also have over 100 custom overlays viewers can trigger with specific bit amounts. In order to keep these manageable, I keep separate scenes with the relevant overlays in them, and then I simply add this scene to my main scenes. You're still following this, right? In the end, it just makes it easier to keep positioning of overlays consistent throughout different scenes, and they can continue to play if I was to switch to a different scene halfway. The reason I chose to use Kruiz Control is because it's all managed locally. You don't need a third-party software to take advantage of its features. For me, the ability to choose a random item from a list has been great and gives my audience variety instead of seeing the same overlay again and again. Using the link below, grab all the relevant files from my GitHub. You'll need the 3D files, the code, and the wiring diagrams. Once you print out the parts required, it's a matter of following the wiring diagram. I won't show you my wiring because it's so perfect that I feel it'll make people jealous, and it's totally not a rat's nest I'm embarrassed to show other people. We wire the keys up as a keypad matrix with a wire from the ESP to the first button in each row and column. Pro tip, don't forget that when you're wiring, it's mirrored since it's flipped. I had a friend tell me. Once you're happy with your wiring and assembly, create a folder called ESP32 Twitch Macro Keyboard. You can change that, just make sure you change the name of the file to be the same as the folder. Place in the creds.h and you're inside. Open the creds.h and populate your Wi-Fi network details, the Twitch channel name and your bot. In order to take full advantage of this setup, I suggest you create a separate channel on Twitch with the name of the bot you want. Since our code is sending chat commands, we can whisper them to the bot to prevent them showing in the main chat. Once you have your Twitch bot account created, you can obtain the Oauth Token from the link in the creds.h file. Save the file and close. Now we'll open the ESP32 Twitch Macro Keyboard, Orthorhynchus, Ginormous, just whatever you called it, with the Arduino IDE. With your cursor on the first line, do a find and replace, which is Control F, uncheck the boxes and search for Change Me to Your Bot Name. Enter your bot name in the Replace With field and click Replace All. You'll need to have the following libraries installed. If you're unsure, I've left a link to a video below that shows you the basics of installing libraries. The first key is outlined between lines 143 to 154. It sends a 0 to the serial monitor when pushed. And while this doesn't send any commands, it is handy if you need to troubleshoot. It then sends a whisper to your bot with the command !live. This is then handled by Kruiz Control, which we will look at shortly. After the whisper, line 1 of the LCD is cleared and replaced with the text PC\live. Anything on line 2 will remain unchanged, and this is how we'll handle the mute status. Let's take a quick look at the mute button, starting at line 534. This is an example of setting a toggle. You may want to use this similar setup for any keys that you need to set like this. For example, webcam off and on. At the start of our code, we've set a Boolean variable named muted to 1 on initialization. We can check the current muted status and send the required mute or unmute as required. Here we can also see how we use line 2 of the LCD display to handle the mute status. Scrolling through the code, we can see this is the case for most of the other keys. You simply need to create your own command relevant to what you want the button to do. On line 112, you also have the option to set a command or an LCD text by default when you first start up the unit. Now I'll discuss how we handle the commands in Kruiz Control. We simply need to create a corresponding command to match each of your buttons. I've put all my code in the main triggers.txt file, so they'll occur immediately without being queued. We can see the first command is set to receive the !live tag and set OBS Studio to PC. The B means only the broadcaster can use this command, which will prevent anyone else whispering !live to your bot and having things change. The 1 is the millisecond timeout before you can trigger that command again. That's why we set it low. Easy, right? Let's have a look at an example where we have an overlay we want to turn on and off. The command for !PB enables an overlay in the scene Matt's triggers named Dodgy PB. It waits 8 seconds, which is the length of the overlay, and then turns the scene back off. As mentioned earlier, you may start to see where having specific overlays in their own scene makes sense. I'm using the command !CD hide to turn off the camera for my craft desk and !CD show to turn it back on. As I have multiple scenes where the camera is displayed, I can simply list them all and turn them on or off. That way we can switch scenes and the camera status remains the same. This could also be simplified to one line if you have your camera in its own scene. !bot hide is a good example of this. And our mute button is similar to the !CD hide and !CD show commands. In OBS settings, I don't specify the input devices. I add these as a source manually to each scene. Here I can simply list the scenes and sources to turn them on or off. And finally to audio triggers. Again, Kruiz Control comes in clutch here. We can drop the sound files into the sounds folder and trigger them with the play command. 100 is the volume amount and the wait switch specifies to wait for the entire sound file to finish. Easy! There are also commands for slobs which can be found in the Kruiz Control documentation. That should cover it all. You may have noticed some blank buttons and media keys, which I haven't assigned yet. Believe it or not, I actually ran out of things to assign, which is great. In terms of media keys, I'll need to wait for support to send keystrokes in Kruiz Control, as the ESP32 doesn't support the keyboard.h library. You could use a Pro Micro and connect it via I2C if this is something you want now, but I've not done it and frankly can't be stuffed. Well, since I have a new deck, I won't be needing the old 25 macro keyboard anymore. On the 19th of September from 9:30 AM Australia time, that's September the 18th at 6:30 PM Central American time, I'm celebrating my 40th birthday by streaming on Twitch. I'll be giving away the 25 key macro keyboard as seen here, or you can follow a link and try and make one yourself. To be in the running to win, you need to be a current subscriber to the Disaster of Puppets Twitch channel, join my Discord server, or follow me on Twitter, and that's it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you had fun. I hope you have good luck trying to win a keyboard macro thing. And everything's on my GitHub, social media, and all that whatnot. And yes,